So, Kamari, you got any good ideas?
Yevon's teachings.
The teachings won't help us fight sin.
No answer in the teachings. Answers lie outside. Must know both sides to find answer.
Both sides.
Micah knows much. Find him, make him talk.
That's it! Kamari, you rock!
On board Sid's airship, the company tries to come up with a new plan to defeat Sin. Each of Tidus's and Yuna's allies contribute. Auron mentions Tidus's link with Sin through his connection with Jecht. Imari suggests trying to make Grandmaster Micah talk. Riku, Lulu and Wakka come up with an idea to use the Hymn of the Fayth to pacify Sin. Yuna and Tidus decide to go to Bevel and confront Micah. Guards still treat them as traitors. Shelinda, the acolyte Yuna first met on Mihen High Road, is now captain of the guard. She arranges an audience with the Grand Maester. Micah is shocked to learn of Yunalesca's demise.
Fools! Infants! Do you realize what you've done?
He thinks Spira has lost its only hope. Before turning into fireflies and vanishing, he mentions Yevon. The Fayth that resides in Bevel, the ghostly child who appeared to Tidus multiple times since the beginning of the story, appears to tell Yuna and Tidus to come to its room. The Fayth tells them of Yevon, an ancient summoner no longer human who exists only to summon. Yevon resides within Sin. When Sin is defeated, Yevon merges with the final Aeon and transforms it into a new Sin. If Yevon is stopped, Sin and its rebirth will be stopped. The Fayth asks Yuna to call for her Aeons when fighting Yevon. The Fayth reveals to Tidus that if Yevon is defeated and the cycle of Sin's rebirth ended, the dream of the Fayth will end, the dream that Tidus is a part of. This sudden twist means that to reach the story goal, Tidus will have to give up his life. Tidus agrees to make the ultimate sacrifice without hesitation. However, he does not reveal to Yuna the meaning of the Fayth's warning, knowing she would back out of the plan in attempt to save him. Before leaving Bevel, they tell Shelinda their plan to defeat Sin using the Hymn of the Fayth, and ask her to have people sing the hymn with the Albert airship.
Wait, Gramps! Who's Yevon?
He who crafts the souls of the dead into unholy armor. An armor called Sin. Clad in it, Yevon is invincible.
Sin gains yet another meaning. It is an armor for the ancient summoner Yevon. From within Sin, this once human summoner uses the Fayth wall on Mount Gagaset to summon Dream Zanarkand, thus preserving in memory the city destroyed 1,000 years ago. Sin protects Tidus' birthplace while causing death on Spira. When a final Aeon defeats Sin, Yevon merges with the victorious Aeon to make it into a new Sin. The cycle of Sin's rebirth cannot be ended unless Yevon is defeated.
It's you.
Come to my room.
Okay.
The two heroes have discovered the moral argument, learned the lesson of the story. Now they look for hope in places where no one else would expect it to be found. The search takes them to Bevel, the den of wolves in which they almost perished on their previous visit. These actions earn a reward. In the den of wolves they are enthused by the Fayth of Bevel. In this reward sequence is the second plot point, the final piece of information required to discover the road to victory. With enthusiasm comes epiphany, a need for sacrifice, and clairvoyance. The Fayth of Bevel calls on Yuna and Tidus, enthusing them. It holds esoteric knowledge about the war that was waged 1,000 years ago and the origins of Dream Zanarkand and Sin. At the center of it all is Yevon, an ancient summoner who summons Dream Zanarkand from within Sin. If Yevon is defeated, Sin can be stopped and the cycle of death ended. Yuna receives an epiphany. The Fayth recognizes Yuna as someone capable of defeating Yevon and Sin, as someone with the capacity of a god. The Fayth of Bevel offers help, asking Yuna to summon her Aeons in the fight against Yevon. This epiphany is similar to Yunalesca's. Yunalesca recognizes Yuna as someone capable of defeating Sin and continuing the cycle. The Fayth recognizes Yuna as someone capable of defeating Yevon and ending the cycle. Yunalesca offered Yuna apotheosis in the form of the final summoning. The Fayth does not offer anything similar, but to slay a god one must become a god, and a mortal cannot become a god without sacrifice. Yunalesca spoke of sacrifice openly. To become a high summoner means forsaking one's life. The Fayth does not reveal what the price for defeating Yevon is, but hints at it by asking Yuna to call her Aeons. The price will be her life as a summoner, death of the identity she's built for herself. Tidus receives his own epiphany. The Fayth recognizes him as someone capable of ending the millennial-long dream of the Fayth. The Fayth are tired. They want the dream to end. Tidus has a unique connection with sin that is Jecht. He can end the dream. With this epiphany comes the request for the ultimate sacrifice. It is a call to become a true hero, to sacrifice oneself for the need of others. The ultimate sacrifice can end the long cycle of death. Tidus is a dream of the Fayth. His existence will end with the dream, but during their previous meeting, the Fayth said that coming into contact with sin has made him more than a dream. The enthusiasm brings clairvoyance to Yuna and Tidus. They receive esoteric knowledge about the full extent of the spiral of death and its origin. They learn how to end the cycle. This clairvoyance also makes it easier for the hero Tidus to accept his sacrificial role.
But you know, when it is all over, we will wake and our dream will end. Our dream will vanish.
The stunning surprise number 2 in the story of Final Fantasy X is that Tidus will fade away. This revelation comes to Tidus and concerns only him. It happens in an instant. The Fayth delivers the news straight and true without padding. This is a shock and a surprise to the hero, but he cannot show it not to alarm the romantic interest character standing next to him. Tidus recovers from the surprise quickly and doesn't show a reaction. The audience knows the consequence of this revelation and has to react for him. The surprise does not come completely out of the blue. The foundations for it were laid in the previous encounter between the Fayth and Tidus on Mount Gagaset, though Tidus and the audience did not fully understand or have forgotten what was implied. This changes everything. In the same moment as the keys to victory are handed to the two heroes, its devastating consequences are laid to Tidus alone. They can now reach the story goal, but he will be not able to enjoy the fruits of their victory. Tidus saved Yuna to be together with her, to look for another way of defeating sin. Now he finds out that he cannot both stop sin and be together with Yuna. Improvisation is now required. Tidus must keep his martyr's role from Yuna. Should she find out, she would back out of the plan in order to save him, just as he saved her in Zanarkand.
Yevon lives inside sin. Yuna, listen. When you fight Yevon, we will help you. Promise me you'll summon us. I'm afraid your swords and magic won't be enough. Please call us.
With the reward comes a final call to action. It's the call to take on Yevon and end the spiral of death. This is also the second plot point of the story. It gives the final piece of information that makes winning possible. With the information comes a call to action. For Tidus, it's also a call to become a true hero through sacrifice. He needs to give up his life for the good of the many.
When it is all over, we will wake and our dream will end. Our dream will vanish.
Yeah. You've been dreaming a long time, haven't you?
I'm sorry.
I'm grateful.
A hero is someone willing to sacrifice their needs on behalf of others. Tidus started out his journey on Spira as a full hero, not much caring about anything else than sports and flirting with girls. When the Fayth first tried to ask Tidus to take on this burden on Mount Gagaset, Tidus denied the epiphany. But he has grown on his journey. He's survived 2 great ordeals. He's learned the theme of the story. The ego's search for identity and wholeness is over, or at least almost over, as he still needs to atone with his father. When told he will not be able to enjoy the fruits of his victory, he answers simply, "I'm grateful," meaning he accepts the martyr role unconditionally and without regrets. In this moment, he becomes a true hero.
About what?
Oh, nothing. Hey, don't make that face. Come on, we're gonna beat Sin. Let's see some cheer, okay?
You're hiding something.
I'm not.
The dream of the Fayth will end and the dream will fade. By accepting this, Tidus moves from the hero archetype of the warrior to the martyr. He wants to do what's right, to end the spiral of death. He is willing to die to reach the goal. With this choice, the hero forms a thematic synthesis between the arguments and questions concerning life versus death. This synthesis is, for life to rule over death, those who are not of the living must leave the world to the living. The sacrificial role is reversed between Tidus and Yuna. Yuna entered Zanarkand willing to die to defeat Sin, but Tidus brought her out alive. Now they will face Sin together, and Tidus is willing to die to end the cycle of Sin's rebirth.
You're hiding something.
I'm not.
Really?
The revelation brought by Stunning Surprise number 2, and Tidus becoming a true hero prepared to die, deliver a final blow to the romantic subplot. Tidus brought Yuna out of Zanarkand alive so they could be together once they defeated Sin. Now Tidus will fade away if they defeat Sin and Yevon.
Why are you here? You must go and defeat Sin quickly. You have obtained the final Aeon from Yuna, have you not?
Well, we did meet her.
We fought and defeated her.
What?
Summoners and Guardians will be sacrificed for the final summoning no more.
You have profaned and subverted a 1,000-year-old tradition.
The moral argument of the story is, those with the courage to look beyond tradition can find hope where no one else thought it existed. The heroes have learned the lesson of the story. Now it bears fruit. They find hope in esoteric knowledge and discover a new way to fight Sin. They gain the means to end Sin's rebirth. Their hope lies not only with the Aeons, but Albed Machina weapons, the hymn of the Fayth, Tidus' link to Sin through his father, and the knowledge about Yevon.
Well?
We fight Yevon.
Yes. If you defeat Yevon, it will end.
The final piece of information needed to guide the heroes toward victory comes in Bevel. Grandmaster Micah mentions Yevon, and the Fayth residing in the temple reveals everything about the ancient summoner and Sin's cycle of rebirth. With this final piece of information, the heroes can now reach the story goal.
We'll wait till you think of a plan. Get that noggin working.
With the second plot point comes preparation. The final confrontation awaits. Now the heroes must prepare by gathering information, tools, and allies. Their closest allies help in the preparation. Sid and the Albed have the airship, a powerful Machina weapon. Auron notes of Tidus' connection to Sin through Jecht.
Sin is Jecht. Thus you have a link, a bond with Sin. That may be our key.
Kimahri thinks that while answers may lie outside of Yevon, Grandmaster Micah could have helpful information.
No answer in the teachings. Answers lie outside. Must know both sides to find answer.
Lulu, Wakka and Riku recall how Sin was pacified by the hymn of the Fayth and believe the song could be used against it.
If we attack Sin head-on, we've little chance of winning. However, if he hears the hymn of the Fayth, he will become docile.
Yeah, and that's when we make our move.
The Fayth of Bevel tells of you, Yevon, and the means to end Sin's cycle of rebirth.
Even if you defeat Sin with the final summoning, you, Yevon, will live. You, Yevon, will join with the final Aeon. He will transform it into a new Sin.
You, Yevon, merges with the Aeon.
Then, protected by this new Sin he has created, you, Yevon, continues the summoning.
Shelinda agrees to spread the word and have people around Spira sing the hymn of the Fayth with the Albed airship.
A ship in the sky will sing the hymn of the Fayth. When they hear it, we need everyone to sing along.
Everyone in Spira!
I'm not sure I understand.
You don't have to. Just tell everyone.
A ship in the sky will sing the hymn of the Fayth? So, when they hear it, everyone should sing along, correct?
If they do, we might be able to defeat Sin.
Shreen!
All right, we're going in!
Approach to the climax of the story begins with the final showdown with Sin. Before they begin, Wakka takes a moment to admit he knew nothing of the Albed and apologizes to Sid. They play the hymn of the Fayth from the airship's speakers. Sin appears. It shows off its powers. Yuna, Tidus and the rest of the Guardians fight Sin, weakening it. The airship shoots off Sin's fins one by one. Sin falls to the ground outside Bevel, but the fight isn't over. They must get to you, Yevon, who is inside Sin. Yuna and Tidus have a moment alone. Yuna figures out that when you, Yevon, merges with an Aeon to make it into a new Sin, the Aeon will still be small. She can lure you, Yevon, into merging with an Aeon to fight it. Yuna wonders what it is you, Yevon, is summoning. She is afraid Tidus will go away. Sin grows wings and surges to the sky again. The airship's weapons are malfunctioning. Yuna and her Guardians must face Sin without help from the Machina weapons. Sin opens its jaws wide and the airship flies in.
How's that?
Right on.
When the group was trapped under the lake ice in Macalania, they stood on Sin without noticing. Death incarnate stood still, calmly listening to the hymn of the Fayth. Now they know to use the hymn against Sin. It's played from the airship's speakers and sung by people around Spira. The song weakens Sin, making it vulnerable against Machina weapons. Now the hymn is a tool to battle Sin.
Here we go!
At Operation Miehen, the Albed used cannons and powerful Machina weapons against Sin. Sin's defenses were impenetrable. Sin left the battlefield victorious and unharmed. The Albed airship's Machina weapon is similar to the one used at Operation Miehen. Now it has an effect on Sin. Death incarnate crashes to the ground after the airship's main gun shoots off its fins. The hymn of the Fayth weakens Sin, making it vulnerable against Machina weapons.
A singing ship in the sky.
I hope everyone got the message.
Thematic synthesis is made at the climax of the story. Fayth alone could not defeat Sin. Sin's defeat by the final summoning would always lead to Sin's rebirth. The cycle was endless. Machina weapons alone could not harm Sin. Even the strongest of the weapons could not penetrate its defenses. Together, Fayth and technology bring Sin down. Summoner and her Guardians fight Sin. The hymn of the Fayth weakens Sin. albeit Machina weapons are effective. It's the main character, the hero Tidus, who forms this synthesis of thematic arguments and questions, although not entirely on his own or by his planning. This happens organically through him. He brought together Yuna and Sid, the representatives of faith and technology. The allies he has gathered along the road help him with the hymn. The Albed volunteer the use of their airship. This thematic synthesis is: faith and technology can achieve more together than separately. Neither of them could defeat sin alone, but together they achieve what was thought to be impossible.
The main gun's busted!
Dang it! All right, back inside. Time for another plan.
No, we're going in. Every blitzer knows, when you got the ball, you gotta score!
Tidus is a catalyst hero. He brings change, makes it possible. On his journey, he's learned thematic arguments concerning faith and technology, and life and death, and questioned them. Tidus enables a new way to fight sin, a synthesis of faith and technology. Working together, a summoner and Machina weapons bring sin down. Together with his allies, Tidus forms a thematic synthesis for faith and technology. Alone, he forms a thematic synthesis for the arguments and questions concerning life and death. Tidus also brings about change on an individual level. He helped Yuna reject the final summoning. He helped Waka see past his beliefs and change his opinion on the Albed. When Tidus first appeared on Spira, he was fully in the hero archetype of the innocent. Since the midpoint of the story, the events on Bikanel, Bevel and Macalania Woods, he has been moving towards the hero archetype of the magician. The innocent faded slowly while Tidus moved from orphan to wanderer, and is replaced by magician as he moves from warrior to martyr. Now Tidus is able to perform deeds he couldn't before, deeds thought impossible, seemingly magical. He brings together people who used to have conflicting worldviews and forms thematic synthesis, making it possible to reach the story goal. He makes it possible to defeat sin and end its rebirth. Together, the hero archetypes of the martyr and the magician reach their climax at the very end of the story, when Tidus does the impossible and comes back to Spira after sacrificing his life for the good of the many.
Hey, how you plan on getting inside?
If we can't get through the mouth, we'll rip open a new one. You with me?
Now that's what I call a plan.
The approach plot point leads to the climax. Now all the necessary information, tools and allies are in use. Reaching the story goal is possible. The final showdown begins. Battling sin is the approach that leads to the inmost cave of sin, where the metaphorical dragon dwells. This approach phase starts a series of rolling climaxes.
Here we go!
Yeah! I'm coming for you, Dad!
The story of Final Fantasy X climaxes in a series of showdowns with Sin, Seymour, Jecht and Yevon. First the group takes on Sin, Death Incarnate. In this climax, the first thematic synthesis is formed and put into use. Together, faith and technology achieve what they couldn't achieve separately. After 4 battles with Sin, the airship flies into Sin. Inside is yet another special world where await the antagonist Seymour, the father Jecht, and the summoner god Yevon.
Let's end this.
Dad?
Yeah.
I hate you.
I know. You know what you have to do.
Inside Sin is a whole new world. They must find Jecht to get to Yevon. To get to Jecht, they need to navigate a maze filled with the most dangerous fiends they have encountered so far. Seymour stands in their way. The antagonist has also found his way inside Sin. He intends to learn to control it and fulfill his mission to destroy all life on Spira. The group fights him and defeats him. Finally, Yuna is able to send Seymour and end the threat he poses.
But even after I am gone, Spira's sorrow will prevail.
At the center of the strange world is a tower with a crystal glade. It acts as a gateway to the inmost chamber of Sin. The group arrives at a ruined blitzball stadium through which Tidus first came to Spira. This is Jecht's domain. He has been waiting here for 10 years. Son and father meet after a long time. Tidus gets to tell Jecht he hates him. Jecht transforms into the Aeon Braska used to defeat Sin. Tidus, Yuna and the Guardian fight Braska's final Aeon and defeat it. Jecht returns to his human form, now dying. Father and son atone. Yevon emerges from the defeated Aeon.
You'll cry. You're gonna cry. You always cry. See? You're crying.
I hate you, Dad.
Tidus grew up hating Jecht, but wanting to be like him. He became a blitzball star in his father's footsteps. Jecht came to Spira, joined Braska's pilgrimage, and gave his life to bring the calm. Tidus came to Spira 10 years after Jecht and joined Yuna's pilgrimage, following in his father's footsteps again. But Tidus learned the lesson of the story in time. He and Yuna did not repeat their father's mistakes. Jecht loved his son, even though he was unable to express it. He wanted to make his son into a star. Tidus became a star athlete in Dream Xanakand, and he became a star guardian on Spira. He helped Yuna break the cycle of death. He did what his father was unable to do. Jecht recognizes Tidus, telling him, "You are my son after all." By this he means Tidus has become everything his father wanted him to become, and more. These are the first words of recognition Jecht offers his son. Tidus is able to let go of his hatred. He tells his father, "For the first time, I'm glad to have you as my father." In the form of this minor epiphany, he recognizes everything Jecht has done on Spira and for Spira. At the end of Braska's pilgrimage, Jecht became a true hero by offering his life to bring the calm. Jecht promised Auron he would find a way to end the cycle of death. Now he is helping the next generation to do just that. By this exchange, father and son atone. Now Jecht and Tidus are both true heroes, both willing to give their lives for the good of the many.
Dad! Where are you?
We must go to him.
Then we will. Let me take front.
The world inside Sin is another special world that the heroes must adapt to. At its center is the Inmost Cave where the dragon dwells. This strange place is a maze that must be navigated. It is filled with the most dangerous fiends. At its center is a crystal glade which acts as a gate to the Inmost Cave, the final threshold to the den of the dragon. Tidus has seen this place in his visions. Souls of the dead pass on to the far plane through here. This is the border of the worlds of the living and the dead, and the heroes must cross the threshold to the other side.
You're late, Auron.
I know.
The Inmost Cave of Sin is a ruined blitzball stadium. This is the realm of Jecht, a manifestation of his dead dreams. When Tidus was sucked out of Dream Xanakant at the beginning of the story, this place outside of the living world acted as a gateway to Spira. The journey through Spira started here and it ends here. This is the stage for the final showdown. This is the den of the dragon, of the father Jecht, of the sin-defeating Braska's final Aeon, and of the peerless summoner god Yevon. This is a stage for atonement and resurrection. This is a place of birth and death for the hero Tidus. This is where he was birthed into the real world as a full hero, and this is where he will willingly die as a true hero. This is Jecht's lair. He is the dragon that must be slain. He is Braska's final Aeon and Yevon's vessel. He is the father. He is Tidus's object of hatred, but also endeavor. In him manifests what Tidus has been chasing for all his life.
I promise this will be quick! Hit me with all you got, Dad!
Now begins the resurrection stage of the hero's journey. It displays the new personality that the heroes have formed. Here is the final great ordeal. The story climaxes in a series of showdowns with powerful opponents. Now everything is clear to the heroes. There are no more thematic questions to be asked. Nothing is unclear about reaching the story goal. The new egos the heroes have formed are in full display. The journey has transformed them, given them new personalities. They have found the courage to look beyond tradition and find hope where no one thought it existed. They have become true heroes, putting the needs of others ahead of their own. They have become martyrs, willing to die to reach the story goal. They have become magicians, capable of seemingly magical deeds they couldn't have done before. Tidus and Yuna know what must be done, and they are able to do it. The story of Final Fantasy X has three great ordeals for the heroes. Facing Seymour and Micah in Bivelle is the first ordeal. There Yuna learns the grim truth of Yevon, but decides to continue her pilgrimage. Tidus learns the truth of the pilgrimage's sacrificial nature, but is unable to convince Yuna to quit her pilgrimage. Facing Yuna Leska in Xanakant is the second ordeal. There Tidus and Yuna learn the lesson of the story, and Yuna denies apotheosis by rejecting the final summoning. Facing Jecht and Yevon is the third ordeal. Tidus becomes a true hero by giving his life for the good of the many. Son and father atone. Yuna becomes a true hero by giving up her identity as a summoner to defeat Yevon. Spira receives the eternal calm. Before they get to face Yevon, the group has showdowns with two powerful opponents, Seymour and Braska's final Aeon. Seymour, the antagonist in the story, has grown even more powerful than before. If not stopped, he will destroy all life on Spira, and the group is able to stop him, this time for good. Braska's final Aeon is the most powerful opponent they have faced. This is the final summoning that defeated Sin and brought the calm. They must defeat it to get to Yevon. For much of their lives, Tidus and Yuna have followed in the footsteps of their fathers. Braska's pilgrimage brought the calm and continued the cycle of death. On their journey, Tidus and Yuna learned the lesson of the story before it was too late, and found the courage to look for hope where no one thought it existed. They found a way to break the cycle. Tidus, the catalyst hero, an outsider when he first landed on Spira, made the change possible. A big influence was Auron, the mentor, the secondary father, a guardian to both Braska and Yuna, who acted as a bridge between generations. Tidus first joined Yuna's pilgrimage hating his father. Jecht was an arrogant father who bullied his son. Jecht changed on the pilgrimage. Tidus changes too and gets to witness how his father changed. In Xanarkand, Tidus witnesses how his father became a true hero by placing the needs of others before his own and offering himself as sacrifice for the final summoning. Father and son have an emotional reunion after 10 years apart. Jecht recognizes Tidus.
Good. That's right. You are my son, after all.
Tidus recognizes Jecht.
You know, for the first time I'm glad to have you as my father.
Son and father atone.
I will learn to control it from within. I have all the time in the world.
Since you were gracious enough to dispose of Yuna, the only means of destroying sin is forever gone. Now nothing can stop us.
Well, we can.
Rolling climaxes continue with showdowns with Seymour and Braska's final Aeon. In this part of the climax, the antagonist is defeated, but the story goal is not yet reached. Seymour is now unable to use Sin to destroy all life on Spira, but Sin is not yet stopped. The subplot of son and father is concluded with an emotional reunion and atonement before a battle that ends in the death of the father.
Everyone? This is the last time we fight together. Okay?
Huh?
What I'm trying to say is, after we beat you, Yevon, I'll disappear.
What are you talking about?
Jecht and the Fayth urge Yuna to call her Aeons. One by one, Yuna calls forth every Aeon she has received during her pilgrimage, and Yevon possesses each of them in turn to battle the heroes. Once every Aeon is defeated, Yevon has nowhere left to hide. Before the final confrontation, Tidus drops the news that he will disappear once Yevon is defeated, and says his goodbye. Exposed Yevon fights the heroes. They defeat the ancient summoner. Yuna begins sending Sin. Unsent Auron is ready to leave the world to the living and be sent with Sin. Now that Yevon is gone, faith in the temples are turning to stone. The dream of the Fayth has ended. Dream Xanarkand is no more. People around Spira witness Sin's defeat. Death incarnate explodes into fireflies. With the dream of the Fayth ending, Tidus is starting to fade away. He apologizes to Yuna for not being able to show her his Xanarkand. Yuna confesses her love to him. With a jump of the airship, Tidus moves on to the next world. Braska, Auron and Jecht receive him in the afterlife. Yuna moves fully to the hero archetype of the magician. She started her pilgrimage as innocent, which faded away by the midpoint of the story. As she learns the theme of the story, she becomes able to do what no one thought possible. Now Yuna is capable of deeds no one could have imagined before. She uses her Aeons to trap Yevon and defeat it. Ending Sin's cycle of rebirth is what no one thought possible. Yuna ends the cycle of death and brings the eternal calm. Yuna started her journey willing to die to bring the calm. In Xanarkand, she chose to reject the final summoning. After learning the theme of the story and taking on Sin without the final summoning, Yuna starts to move toward the hero archetype of the Martyr again. She puts her life on the line. She is willing to die to reach the story goal. As Yuna battles her Aeons, she is slowly killing her own identity as a summoner. Tidus' role as a martyr comes to its conclusion. He gives up his life and future together with Yuna. He puts the need of others ahead of his own. He's willing to die to reach the story goal.
I'm sorry I couldn't show you Xanarkand. Goodbye.
Hey!
We're gonna see you again!
Yuna!
The romantic subplot comes to a seemingly definite conclusion at the climax of the story. As the dream of the Fayth ends, Tidus starts fading away. He says his goodbye. Yuna confesses her love to him. A price for reaching the story goal is that the two cannot be together. Tidus fades away and joins the previous generation in the afterlife. Yuna stays on Spira.
This is your world now.
A synthesis for the thematic arguments and questions concerning life and death is formed at the climax of the story. This synthesis is: for life to rule over death, those not of the living must leave the world to the living. The unsent maesters of Yevon, Micah and Seymour, have already left the world of the living. Now it's time for those of the heroes who do not belong on Spira. Auron puts the thematic synthesis into words by saying, "This is your world now. Fayth, souls of the dead trapped in stone, stop dreaming and fade away. Auron, an unsent, and Tidus, a dream of the Fayth, leave the world of the living. Sin, death incarnate, is sent. Now all those not of the living world have left. The world of Spira belongs to the living. Hope has overcome sorrow. Life rules over death."
Yuna, I have to go.
The hero's journey climaxes in the resurrection stage where the story goal is reached. Emotionally charged archetypal events follow one another. The audience gets to experience catharsis. Both heroes go through a cleansing. Tidus atones with his father after he defeats Jecht in battle and before he makes the ultimate sacrifice. With this final cleansing, Tidus is able to move on to the afterlife without regrets and take his place by the heroes of the previous generation to have his father greet him as an equal. Yuna's cleansing is the death of her summoner identity. Her summoner's pilgrimage began in the Chamber of the Fayth on Besaid Island. The Fayth are souls of the dead who join with the summoner. Now the touch of death is cleansed as Yuna defeats her Aeons one by one and kills the summoner identity she worked so hard to build. Once every Aeon and Yevon is defeated, the Fayth in temples turn to stone and Yuna's link with the dead is severed. She is no longer a summoner. With this final cleansing, she is able to become a normal member of society again. Showdowns continue. The group battles each of Yuna's Aeons in turn. When all the Aeons have been defeated, the last fight is with you Yevon, the summoner god who used sin as armor for the last 1,000 years. Only a god can kill a god, but the price for a mortal to become a god is death. It's the price every summoner paid when they defeated sin and brought the calm. Yuna is able to experience apotheosis and live. She stops sin and its cycle of rebirth. She defeats you Yevon and sends sin. Her price is the death of her summoner identity and the death of Tidus, the end of the dream of the Fayth. Tidus plays the ultimate price to reach his goal. He becomes a true hero through sacrifice. He is able to give the imprisoned souls of the dead what they crave, release from the 1,000-year-long dream of the Fayth. Tidus ascends to godhood with a jump off the airship, with a leap to the far plane, the afterlife. He takes his place by the dead heroes of the previous generation, those who ascended to godhood by defeating sin with the final summoning. Tidus makes the ultimate sacrifice and gives his life to reach the goal. He fades away, dies. With this selfless act, Tidus earns his rebirth. Yuna experiences death in a different way. She loses her summoner identity and her love interest. Yuna is reborn as an ordinary person. She is no longer a summoner when she re-enters society. Heroes must die so that they can be reborn. In the encounter on Mount Gagazet, the Fayth told Tidus contact with sin had made him more than a dream. On Spira, dead people can come back to the world of the living. Tidus was a dream of the Fayth, but something more than just a dream. When he taught Yuna to whistle, Tidus promised he would come to her when she whistled. In the afterlife, he waits for the signal that can cross the border of life and death. The climax of the story offers the audience bittersweet catharsis. Father and son have an emotional reunion, battle, and atonement. Each Aeon Yuna has earned on her long pilgrimage is fought and killed. You Yevon, the cause of the cycle of death, is defeated. Sin is sent and its cycle of rebirth ended. Tidus and Yuna have an emotional parting. Tidus joins Braska, Auron, and Jecht in the afterlife and high-fives his father. The climax of the story brings change to the world. Spira will never be the same. There is no more sin and no more Fayth. Hope has overcome sorrow. People no longer need to live in fear. Death's rule over life has been overthrown.
Yuna, you know what to do. The Aeons!
We Aeons!
Call them!
Call us!
The rolling climaxes reach their peak. The Aeons are battled and defeated. Tidus says goodbye. You Yevon is defeated. 2 heroes die. Auron is sent with sin and Tidus fades away. The romantic subplot seemingly ends with Yuna confessing her love before Tidus moves on to the afterlife. With you Yevon's defeat and sin's sending, the story goal is reached. The story goal of Final Fantasy X is to stop sin. You Yevon is what recreates sin after its defeat. You Yevon is defeated. Sin is sent. The cycle of sin's rebirth is ended. Life rules over death. The story goal is achieved.
Everyone has lost something precious. Everyone here has lost homes, dreams, and friends. Everybody? Now, sin is finally dead.
In the short denouement sequence, the loose ends are tied up and the story concluded. Yuna stands on a pier in Luca and whistles out to the sea. Lulu comes to take her to the stadium. People fill the Blitzball stadium. They celebrate Yuna as she addresses them. Sin is no more. People can live their lives without fear. They can rebuild. Yuna reminds the audience to never forget the friends lost or the dreams that have faded. The credits roll. After the credits, Tidus reappears. He wakes up underwater and swims to the surface. This is the end of the story. The symbol of the whistle is repeated one last time. Yuna stands alone on a pier, not far from where Tidus first taught her to whistle. She whistles again and again to the waves. When speaking to the crowd, Yuna encourages them not to forget the dreams that have faded. She clearly has not, since she whistles to the sea, repeating the symbol of her relationship with her love interest. The whistle becomes a signal of love that transcends the border of life and death. It reaches Tidus on the far plane, enabling his rebirth to the world of the living as a part of it. When he first taught Yuna to whistle, he promised to come to her running should she whistle.
The people and the friends that we have lost. No dreams that have faded. Never forget them.
The final ordeal is over and the story goal achieved. The hero Yuna returns to society, bringing to the people the elixir of life. Yuna returns to the ordinary world as an ordinary person. She is no longer a summoner. Of her pilgrimage, only the experience remains. The elixir of life that the hero brings to the people is the end of the cycle of death. Now life rules over death. The unsent maesters who governed are gone. Sin is gone. Yevon is gone. The world is forever changed. Spira is free of the spiral of death. Death's rule over life has been overthrown. Now people can sleep in their beds without fear. Now towns can be rebuilt. Yuna's reward is being received as a hero. People cheer for her. Those deserving punishment are no more. The unsent maesters who governed Spira, Micah and Seymour, are already gone. Yuna is sadder but wiser after the experience. She has lost the man she loved, but the journey has changed her. Never forget the people lost or the dreams that have faded, she tells her audience. After the credits comes one last surprise. This is a positive twist to the romantic subplot and a final reward to the heroes. Tidus wakes up underwater. He swims to the surface. In the final image of the story, Tidus wakes up underwater and swims to the surface. He experiences the rebirth that he earned by becoming a true hero through sacrifice. Contrast between the opening image and the final image is clear. In the opening image, all hope is lost. It is the darkest hour, where reaching the story goal seems least likely. The group is outside Zanarkand, where Yuna is going to give her life to receive the final summoning and die battling sin. In the final image, hope is refound after the bittersweet climax of the story. Tidus had to die to reach his goal. Yuna had to give up the man she loved. Now, brought back to life by the whistle and the promise tied to it, Tidus swims to the surface to be reunited with Yuna.
Everybody? Now, Sin is finally dead. Now, Spira is ours again.
The short denouement ties up loose ends. Yuna returns to the ordinary world and is received as a hero. Tidus returns to life in the post-credits surprise scene. The dramatic questions have their final answers. The three dramatic questions are the professional, the personal, and the private, or physical, emotional, and spiritual.
We called it sin.
I will defeat sin.
Sin is Jecht.
You will go with us to Xanarkand?
Your powers are still too weak.
You know what Yuna must do.
I won't quit my pilgrimage.
No matter how many summoners give their lives, sin cannot be truly defeated.
Forget all about sin. About being a summoner.
The final summoning will be yours.
I will conquer it. And I will do it without false hope.
You've taken away the only means of calming sin.
If you defeat Yevon, it will end.
Call them!
Call us!
Now, Sin is finally dead. Now, Spira is ours again.
The professional dramatic question is, will Tidus and Yuna stop sin? The answer is yes. But this goal is not reached without price. Tidus gives up his life on Spira. Yuna gives up her life as a summoner.
She's cute, yeah? Don't get no ideas.
No promises there, big guy.
Not a guardian, then. I just want him nearby.
What?
I'd love to go there.
Yuna!
Huh?
Yuna, take me as your pillar of strength.
I've decided to marry.
Yuni will die, you know?
I'm telling you, she won't die! Let's go to Xanarkand.
Even if I was with you, I could never forget.
Our dream will vanish.
You won't go away, will you?
The personal dramatic question is, will Tidus and Yuna be together? The answer is yes. By willing to sacrifice his needs on behalf of others and becoming a true hero, Tidus earns his rebirth to the world of the living. The whistle Tidus taught Yuna and the promise he made her bring them back together.
A gift from Jecht.
My old man?
Gonna cry again. Cry, cry. That's the only thing you're good for.
A man named Jecht told me. He was my father's guardian.
So he's famous here, too?
Why did it have to be me?
Jecht asked me to.
Why I hate my old man.
You'll be fine. Remember, you're my son. So make me the Fayth. I'll fight sin with you, Braska.
That won't break the cycle!
I'm grateful. You know, for the first time I'm glad to have you as my father.
The private dramatic question is, will Tidus rise to his father's level and be worthy of his praise? The answer is yes. Tidus rose above his father as a guardian by saving Yuna and bringing her out of Xanarkand alive. Tidus rose to his father's level by putting the needs of others above his own and making the ultimate sacrifice. Tidus earned his father's respect by learning the theme of the story, discovering the moral argument, and gaining the courage to look beyond tradition to find hope when no one thought it existed. This concludes my analysis of Final Fantasy X.